What is up, everyone? JRagnarok of JRagnarokPromotions, and this is the Local Opener podcast where we interview fans, people who work within, or bands within the hard rock and heavy metal scene in our home state of Pennsylvania. Now, I say "our," but I'm the only one here today. Unfortunately, Cabal and Brandon could not make it. Brandon had some last-minute birthday plans that popped up, so he's doing that, going out camping in the woods and, no service and all that. And Cabal had some plans that him and his wife are taken care of, so it will just be me today. But with that being said, we are going to be interviewing Aurie and Tyler of Elsewhere and the Pass the Aux podcast, which I was a guest, so make sure you hop on Spotify and check that out. Okay? I'm super excited to talk to these guys. If you listen to their podcast, you'll learn a little bit about them as well, but hopefully we can ask some questions today that will bring a little bit more insight as to what it is that they do. So without further ado, let's get in this interview. And we are here with Tyler and Aurie from Elsewhere. What is up, fellas?
How's it going?
Hey, how are you this morning?
Not
Afternoon.
too bad. Well, morning for some, afternoon for others. So how are you guys doing this week?
Good.
Yeah, I can't complain. I'm used to recording podcast episodes at like 9:30, so I'm still in morning mode. So
No, I hear that. It's because of your guys' podcast that I actually wanted to start doing this, but 9:30 in the morning is way too early for me to even think about words to say. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this at like noon.
Yeah, I work second shift, so like this is morning to me too. I usually wake up at 10, so I have to wake up earlier to do our stupid podcast than to go to work, which is
Yeah. No, I hear that. So as I alluded to in my opening, which you guys didn't hear because I was in mine doing recording, Cabal and Brandon are not here. They really wanted to be, but Brandon's actually out camping for some sort of like pop-up birthday thing, and Cabal had some things to do with his wife. So it's just me today. I did tell them that we will probably either have you guys back, or if you guys would be willing to have us join your podcast, just as kind of a return trip, so then they get some time too. So if you guys are cool with that, we'll set that up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because Brandon was super heartbroken when he found out that he had to do something for his birthday, and he missed the chance to talk to you guys, because I guess Tyler, he went to school with you, like in elementary school.
Yeah, we did a couple years of elementary school together, and then he went to my high school for a few years as well before he moved.
Tough times out on the playground, huh?
Yeah.
So
we actually lived in the same town as well too. He actually came over to my house a few times as a kid.
Okay.
I had one of the only trampolines in the neighborhood, so I had a lot of friends as a child.
So I can imagine, it's like, when we were kids, having like that one friend that would have a PlayStation when you only had a Nintendo, and you're like, oh, I gotta go play the wrestling games and stuff like that. Okay.
Holy shit! This thing plays discs.
Yeah, I know, right? Gran Turismo, and like when that first came out, you're like, wow, like it's like driving a real car. So anyway, I guess we'll start with the general question that gets asked on a lot of music podcasts. How did you guys get into music? Like what got you into bass and what got you into singing?
Or you go first. My story's way.
I go first.
Yeah, mine's
okay. Then I'm gonna embellish my story so it's like unbelievable, like I went to the moon, and then you can never beat it.
Have you ever heard of DJ Khaled? He discovered me when I was 16.
Like I'm Justin Bieber. I was called the metal Justin Bieber before, so I can make it happen.
For some reason, I am both surprised and not at the same time.
So for me, like I actually started with guitar. I know like in like elementary school, they did this, like you had like music class, and they were like, we're gonna assign students like an instrument, and I was assigned the cello, and I was like, cool, this is gonna be cool. Like I was always interested in kind of learning music, but then it was more like a scam. Like they want you to like go home and have like a permission form with your parents and stuff, and be like, your child wants to take music lessons, or like and like this is what it's gonna cost. and
Oh
it
wow.
was like a lot. I mean, like cellos are expensive and shit.
Wait, so
So
they
like
were
they're like,
basically like, oh hey, you're taking this class. Congratulations, parents, you're buying an
it's.
instrument now.
I feel like they tried to do that, but my parents were like, no. But I think I did ask eventually to do guitar lessons.
Right.
So I did guitar lessons for a while, and my teacher was very like, we're gonna learn these older songs like Sweet. Not what is
Sweet Home
it?
Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama, and like chords and stuff. And I never got into it because like I didn't even know those songs, so it was like hard for me to play them and play stuff that I wasn't passionate about. So I ended up like,
you're like, excuse me, teacher, do you have any Bless the Fall?
do you have any My Chemical Romance? So I ended up quitting guitar lessons, but I still kept the guitar because they did like a thing where like it was like rent to own kind of, and I took lessons long enough that like paying off the rest of the instrument wasn't that much.
Right.
So that's how I got my first like instrument, was an acoustic guitar.
So playing off of that, because you were basically saying that they were trying to get you to play music you weren't passionate about, you know. So did you kind of you know, endure the same things as a kid as like I did, where like your music taste kind of got you the side eye from some folks, where they're like, you know, oh, you want to play that? Like, no.
A little bit. I didn't listen to like a lot of music until like high school actually.
Oh,
But
really?
I remembered I was into Green Day at the time, and I wanted I asked for like one of their albums for Christmas, and I think it had like they have a song called like Bloody Valentine or something. Bloody. I don't know. My parents read the track list and.
Yeah, you're talking about Wake Me Up When September Ends.
No, it wasn't that. But it had like the parental discretion thing, and my parents didn't get me that album because of that, and they got me Franz Ferdinand, which I still love Franz Ferdinand. I don't know why I remember that.
Right.
But got to Take Me Out.
It's just
That
album slaps.
That's
that
a
album
great
slaps.
song, and that is the only song I know. But
No,
you can't guess where I know it from.
Take Me Out.
Yeah.
Because I know this fire was the Cyberpunk Edge Runners opener. I don't know actually.
I
the
know
commercials
from Guitar Hero.
Oh, okay.
That's where I knew a lot of my music is from Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Really expanded on my my love for metal and hard rock and all that stuff. So Tyler, what about you? What got you into music? What got you into playing bass?
So I feel like 90% of bass players, I did not start out wanting to play bass because, let's be honest, on the surface, the bass isn't the coolest instrument. You got to dig in a little bit to find out where like the real cool bass players live. So I asked for a guitar when I was like probably 14 or 15. But I was a little confused by it because I'm left-handed.
6 strings.
Yeah, 6 strings are too many for me.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5.
Shit, I don't have enough fingers for this.
Damn it! I don't know how this is gonna work with my only 5 fingers. No, but so I'm left-handed, but I got a right-handed guitar because I actually didn't know at the time that there was left-handed guitars. So I struggled for a long time trying to play a right-handed guitar left-handed.
So you had to Jimi Hendrix it.
Yeah, so eventually I just learned how to play guitar right-handed. So right. I had a friend who got a guitar about the same time as I did, and we would jam and stuff. He also played drums. And then I think at one point he was just like, "Hey, you're not very good at guitar. You should try playing bass." Oh, shit. I was like, "That hurts." But,
thanks for being supportive.
But you're not wrong. So I got my first bass probably at like 16, and then I've been playing bass ever since then. And I played drums a little bit too and stuff with like I played drums in like a band that didn't do anything for like a couple years. We just practiced and stuff and never actually played a show, but yeah.
You know, it's always really funny to me because I will see people, especially now, like following all these like local and indie bands, where they will play one instrument for their respective bands, but then they play literally every other one just as a hobby. And I'm like, I can hardly play one. How are you playing like 9?
Yeah.
Because like Brett from The Art of Deception is one of those ones where, you know, for Monument of a Memory, he plays drums. For The Art of Deception, he plays guitar. He sang a couple times on stage with a couple other bands, and I was just like, how do you have the time for this?
Yeah. I eventually, like, when I stopped taking guitar lessons, I eventually asked for a bass for Christmas, and then I got a bass, and I got into bass. That was like when I actually got into playing music. because I could read tabs and I could play songs that I liked. So
If anybody wants it, I know Aurie's old YouTube channel, and I will
no,
send you.
shut the fuck up.
I will send you.
Shut the fuck up.
Private message me or the band page. I will send you the
No,
video.
you will
of
not.
His
No, you
cover
will
of
not.
Views
That's
from
a
a school talent
Patreon.
show.
The Patreon only.
exclusive. I was
There-
waiting for that to pop up. I didn't want to dive too much into like your guys' podcast stuff, but I'm like, I'm still waiting for it.
Oh, he knows about it. He knows about the vocal tutorials.
No.
I do. I listen
No.
to every episode. I know everything.
No.
So another thing I want to ask is the band Elsewhere. How did that come to be? Like, where did you get the name from? What inspired you guys to kind of write the things that you do? How did that all come to be?
So Aurie's gonna give you the wrong history of this band. So let
you
me
give
the
the
right
you give the
history of
prehistoric Jurassic version, and then I'll give you the modern AD version.
Okay, so Josh and I became friends through mutual friends, probably almost a decade ago at this point. But we got together and we were like, oh, let's write like an EP of like 6 different songs in 6 different genres. So long story short, we ended up doing that, wrote it, finished it. I think 2 songs ended up actually becoming Illusion of Solace songs. 2 songs became Elsewhere songs, Unsure and Divided, which are off the EP Hope Bliss, were actually songs that Josh and I wrote probably 7 or 8 years ago. And then like we had a different name for a while, and then we saw that it was taken on like Facebook or something, so we changed the name to Elsewhere. And then eventually Josh, I think, got in contact with Aurie and then maybe Ricky and stuff, and I think they were looking to start something because Ricky and Aurie have known each other for like Aurie, what are you? You're 55, so
Yeah.
they've known each other since about 1981.
Yeah.
But they're looking. There's 1970s like Styx cover band wasn't really working out for them anymore, so they wanted to join Josh.
Holy shit, this is a long fucking tangent.
No, but eventually, like Josh got with Ricky and Aurie, and then started the official Elsewhere without me, because I was in Illusion of Solace for a while. So
now, with Illusion of Solace, I know, Tyler, in your guys' show that you said there was a point where you had to leave the band. What caused that? If you don't mind my asking.
Yeah, it was nothing personal or anything, but like that style of music is not necessarily my favorite style of music. Like that technical, like progressive metalcore. And truthfully, I'm not a great bass player, and some of that stuff is really hard to play. But yeah, it's just like I love the music, but it's not something that I wanted to play. And I had the opportunity to join Elsewhere, which definitely fits more of my style of music. So I was like,
Right.
wow, Elsewhere really benefit from having me in this band. So
No, I can definitely see that there's a little bit of crossover between Illusion of Solace and you guys and Elsewhere. There are some similar sounds, but where you guys differ is it's a lot more like spoken word and a little bit, as you said, less progressive, and Illusion of Solace really leans into that proggy type of stuff. So, but Aurie, what about you? Where did this all kind of stem for you?
Yeah, so I met Josh through a mutual friend as well, and I always was like, Josh record. So the band that Ricky and I were in before was We Fought by the Sword, and we recorded an EP with Josh. So I've known Josh for a while, and I was always in the back of my head, I was like, it'd be so cool if I could be in a band with Josh. Like, Josh was always on that like list of people I wanted to be in a band with. So when the We Fought by the Sword kind of fizzled out, because like we had a couple members, like Tim, our guitarist, moved to Maryland. He's doing his own band now called Bend the Knee. It just kind of fizzled out, and I knew Josh was in another local band at the time that kind of fizzled out, and we were like, okay, we're both single at the same time, like this is our chance. So I pitched it to Josh, and
hey, are you interested in me? I'm interested.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you're in a you have to be like single at the same time.
Yeah, it's like that situation where it's like, listen, I really like you, but I can't do anything with you until
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not in a relationship.
if I was single, it'd be completely different. But right now, I'm kind of committed.
Yeah.
I'm really just trying to work on myself.
So it's actually really funny because I remember when I first started getting into you guys, I saw you at XL Live playing with the now kind of in Choppy Waters, Eternal Frequency, Suicide Puppets, and Dinosaurs in Paris. And I was so excited about seeing you guys and so enthralled by your music. I immediately, like that night, went to Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I'm like, you have to check out these guys in Elsewhere. You have to really check. And then I got a message on Twitter because apparently you guys don't have a Twitter, and I tagged another Elsewhere. And the dude was like, oh, I've been meaning to talk to those boys. They'll be hearing from my lawyers. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to message you guys and be like, listen, I don't want to be the guy to tell you, but I think I may have fucked shit up for you. So that's kind of why I asked where the name Elsewhere came from, because it seems, I mean, it's a fairly common word, but aside from you guys, I've never seen anybody use it. And then when I went to look you up, it seems like there's like 2 or 3 different bands who have similar names. So
yeah, it blew up.
let me just say this real quick. I remember getting that message because I run most of the social media for the band, and I saw that, and the first thing I thought was like, man, Keith is a pretty cool guy. I remember seeing you at the front of the crowd for that show, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm glad he reached out. Second of all, the other guy who's in some other band named Elsewhere, fuck you. Fuck you, your band is not as
Fight
good
you
as
for
ours.
it. Like, step up, we'll fucking brawl, and I'm like the weakest person on earth, so let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen what Tyler does to wedges on the stage. I can't imagine seeing what he would do to somebody else.
Yeah, you should
to
see
an
what
actual
Ricky does to
person.
people. Ricky
Yeah, this
fucking
guy
fight
watches
anybody.
wrestling. He knows how to fight.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hit him with
now,
like the
are we gonna throw a working punch or a stiff punch?
A stiff punch, 100%.
But,
do the body chop slap things, whatever.
yeah, them knife edge chops that you can hear from a million miles away.
I don't even. So we used to have a lot of problem with like people. It used to be a lot more difficult when you like upload to Spotify and there's someone else with the same name. You have to like keep it separate. We used to have a lot of problems with like having a lot of people, multiple artists, and like using one Spotify page.
Yeah.
But I don't know if a lot of them are still going.
Yeah,
I don't see a lot of them
because
still.
when I went to the gym last night, I like power listened to all of your guys' stuff, and now I go through YouTube Music for a lot of my stuff, and I saw your last 2 albums, but then there was this other one where I started listening to it. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like anything that Elsewhere does, and this doesn't sound like Aurie. And I got to looking at it, and it's like this black and gray cover of a dude where it's a silhouette of a dude looking like he's wearing a bear mask. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. I'll have to send it to you. Because I didn't think it was you guys. I didn't really try to commit it to memory because I'm like, this isn't them.
What genre was it?
It was more or less like, it was still kind of rock, but it was very, very tame compared to what you guys usually do.
Yeah, I've seen hip hop and I've seen like an indie artist, but I haven't seen rock.
Hey, other Elsewhere band, if you're listening, fuck you too.
We'll sue you. We're coming for your ass.
I know a guy who knows a guy who's a lawyer. I know a guy who knows a guy who is a lawyer, so you're fucked.
We just played at the chicken shop. We're fucking big shit.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's actually something I was gonna get to later, but since you brought it up, you guys just recently, well, by the time this pops up on YouTube, it'll be a couple weeks after, but you guys just recently played at a chicken restaurant?
Hell yeah, we did.
How did that go?
It was legitimately probably one of the most fun shows I've ever played in my entire life.
It was crazy. It was wild.
Now, here's a little callback to your guys' show. Aurie, do they have vegan food there?
I didn't look, but I don't think so.
I
know
can't imagine they would.
My wife got potatoes, so potatoes are vegan. So
It goes, hey, when in doubt, eat fries.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, shout out Grandma Stams. That was awesome. Jake from Handguns, who's now doing a music project called Bullfrog and Road. Like, shout out those. They were like super nice. They
Yeah.
let us play loud ass music in their little, restaurant for the whole day, pretty much. So
Yeah. So
that
how
was
that
awesome.
like ultimately came about? We had booked a show. We had booked that show 2 months beforehand at a different location. Some things had happened, and we agreed that all the bands agreed that we did not want to play that venue anymore. And this was a week and a half.
Was it shiesty stuff from the venue, if I may?
It was just like accusations that we can't
Yeah.
like confirm or deny, so we just have to move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like,
Okay. Yeah, because
yeah, it's just,
I mean, when I ask questions like you don't have to name drop,
yeah.
but
We would
obviously
100%.
it doesn't
Yeah,
take
we would
much to
like,
find out where it was. But
Yeah. Yeah. The old flyer is definitely still online. But yeah, so that had happened, and I had got a message from Jesse in Bedroom Floor, and Tyler from Escape Artist was like, "Hey, we had heard this stuff. We don't feel comfortable playing there." And I was like, "I totally agree. Let me see what I can do." So that happened at like noon on like the Monday, like 13 days before the show's supposed to happen, or whatever, like 12 days. So I'm like, "Fuck, I gotta find somewhere else to have the show," because like Bedroom Floor, arguably our best friends in music. Escape Artist, our best friends in music.
oh, without a doubt.
So we were supposed to originally play with Borish. They had to drop for some other reason. So we got Canopy Cover, who is Aurie's brother David, who is also one of our best friends and Aurie's brother. And Lexi, who's a poet. What?
He's my brother's second. He's our best friend first.
Yeah, Aurie and David, really good friends. Oh,
Friends
also
first.
brothers. And then Lexi, who is a wonderful poet out of York. I was like, I'm not canceling the show. I'm like, I know we have a PA. I know we have all the stuff that we need to play this show. We can play it anywhere. I just need somewhere to play the show.
Right.
I messaged a couple places, and of course, I got no responses from some people. Sorry, side note, just tell me no. Like,
He's
not
gonna,
to,
he's gonna
not
be
to fuck,
so salty about this.
not to be beefing, but just tell me you can't help me. And then I'm not constantly being like, oh, I'll just wait for an answer from these people and not do something else to help to better my situation. Anyways, so I eventually am like, oh, I know Jake from Handguns a little bit. Like, I've been to a bunch of handgun shows. We've talked a little bit and stuff. I know he's had shows at Grandma Stamps. Let me throw the Hail Mary out here and see what happens. I message him. I'm like, hey, what's the chances we can do this? He's like, if you got a PA, let's do it. And that's how it happened.
Oh, dang. So it's really funny to me to see bands do quote unquote pop up shows in venues you wouldn't otherwise see them. Like when Sleep Sculptor and Escape Artist and I think it was Vulture Peak did one out of Curry Donuts. They did it outside a donut shop, and then you guys doing it in a fried chicken joint. Like it's wild to me to see stuff like that, but it's also super cool because that just means that there are places that are being kind to local artists again, you know, because anymore it seems like unless you're playing HMAC or Love Drafts or V Spot or anything like that, they're just like, you know, like we'd much rather have bigger artists, and they don't really book any of the local indie bands or anything like that. With that being said, you know, you said we'll just say no. Is it generally like the bigger venues that tend to lead you around, or is it, you know, pretty much everywhere?
I messaged probably 5 places about getting that show booked. Only 2 of them actually responded to me. So there was another place in Carlisle actually called Seven Dots, which is a pizza place not too far from Grandma Sam's where we had the show.
Oh, dang, a
Where
pizza joint.
I've seen handguns play in that backyard, and I'm friends with the guy who owns that pizza shop too. And I was like, you know, let's shoot my shot there. And the day after I confirmed the show with Grandma Stams, he was like, yeah, we can do it. Let's just talk details. So we had a second option, also at another restaurant in Carlisle.
It's
That's really funny. Uh, but it's super cool to see a lot of these smaller venues, you know, open themselves up, or not even venues, restaurants at this point now, open themselves up to live music. Because at the end of the day, I ultimately think that having live music would only really prove to benefit you. You know what I mean? Because if you have a band come in and play, whether it's someone like nobody knows or someone everybody knows, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still going to be somebody there who's like, oh, they got live music. Like, I'm all about that. So
Yeah.
the fact that we have a lot more places and a lot more avenues for you guys to get exposure and play shows and, you know, hone your craft, make money, whatever it is you do it for. The fact that that opportunity there is incredibly awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That show was.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the clips, like it was wild. That whole show was like just the whole room was a pit, pretty much. It was just like a whole push pit from wall to wall.
Yeah,
See,
Keith, I don't know how you edit your podcast, but I can ship you off a clip from that show if you want to like splice it into the middle somewhere.
For the video, I definitely can put it in. So if you have anything you want to send me, by all means, shoot it my way. I'll gladly put it in.
I got a clip for you.
So one thing I really like about your guys' band specifically is it seems like each of you kind of bring your own personality to the band. Because, you know, like Tyler, you're the real big hype guy, right? And Aurie, you put a lot
Thank
of
you.
emotion.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're the one always screaming like, "Get the fuck up here! I want to see you move." Yeah, yeah. Aurie, you put a lot of emotion and, you know, heart into what it is you do. Like, not to be a shill or seem like I'm kissing ass or anything, but
Yeah.
it's one thing I really notice with you guys is each of you kind of have your own personality you bring to it. Has there ever been times where, you know, that's been a detriment to you guys, or has that pretty much been one of the best things for the band, is the fact that a lot of you guys are, you know, have that different, you know, personality?
I'd say for the most part, we really balance each other out, especially with like Ricky's someone I've known for so long. He's like a brother to me. He's like one of my best friends, and he like has a personality that meshes really well with me because he's very like laid back and he's very chill, and he's very
Ricky's the chillest motherfucker.
Yeah, but he's also crazy because behind a drum kit, he's the most chaotic, like absolute just robot on the drums.
The
So
fucking menace.
yeah, so I think we all balance out really well. Because I can have like a very like nervous energy, but seeing Ricky is always he's like the rock of the band, kind of. Like I look at Ricky if I'm nervous, if I'm anxious, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's so funny to actually hear Ricky fuck up when he's playing, because
I don't think I ever have. Yeah, unless he drops a stick. If he drops a stick, then you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah, and you'll see it anytime there's a clip and you catch Ricky like dropping a stick in it. All four of us just look back at him.
It's
like, what the fuck
so
is
weird.
happening? Because it doesn't ever happen. We're like, what?
But then it's been like just a blessing to have Tyler in the band because he does like a lot of the social media stuff. And before Tyler was in the band, it was like kind of a lot on me. Like Josh does all the music stuff, so I don't have to worry about like, you know, mixing, recording, all that stuff. But running all the socials on top of like I'm kind of like the art guy. Like I do like the flyer design. If we need like a post that has like some kind of design or some kind of art, that's kind of like what I bring to the band. I used to do.
Sorry, pause for a second. I accept the Fat Yoshi. I made that. So if you want to get that on a T-shirt,
you made that like fucking like a generate. You went on like Meme-matic or whatever it is and just fucking added.
No, I used a free photo editor online actually.
Okay.
Anyways, continue.
But yeah, luckily I think we all have a personality that meshes well together, and that's like something that we really found out when we went on like tour and we were in that van, and just yeah, I'm just really grateful to be with this group.
Yeah, it seems like you guys get along really well, and one thing I've been noticing a lot more diving into the scene is that some bands can put up a facade like everything's super cool and nice, and behind the scenes you realize maybe it's not as kosher as what they make it out to be. With that being said, it's like, have you guys, I mean, not amongst each other, because you just said you guys mesh really well and your different personalities kind of balance each other out, but has there been any, hardships or anything when regards to touring or doing shows or anything that, puts a little bit of a strain on you guys?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah, we're pretty chill. Like it's really like nobody in this band has any kind of ego. I mean, jokingly, we're like, well, look at us, we're so good. But like, we're all very humble people. I will say, like the fact that anybody listens to our music, or the fact that like at that Grandma Stam show, people were like singing along. That there was people there that I had just met that day were singing the words to these songs, and like. If you've never experienced that, it's such a weird feeling because you're like, oh, I've been playing these songs for fucking ever, and somebody's singing these songs back to me. What's happening right now?
Yeah.
I hear that.
we're all just we're pretty just chill people. Like,
I think we're all like understand. Like, there's been times where like there's been shows that I really wanted to play and we had to pass up on because someone like had something. And I think that's like the closest we get to being like. It's just
man.
like, but you understand like everyone in this band has a life. Everyone in this band has a job. Everyone in this band has like a relationship. So it's like sometimes stuff don't work out and you don't get to play the show you want to play, and that's just life. You just move on.
Yeah.
Right,
jokes on any of the ladies listening to this. Elsewhere is a fully taken band. Taken by the love of music, am I right?
There it is. So, you said there's a lot of shows you had to pass up. What bands do you really want to play with that maybe you had to cancel on at some point or another because of prior engagements?
I think the most recent one was like we were offered a show at Keep Flying, which is like one of Tyler's favorite bands.
I've fallen.
But it was a weekday, and it's like Ricky drives trucks, and it's like really, really hard for him to take off. And Timmy works.
What, like an actual like big rig truck, or like?
No, it's like a box truck.
Oh, okay. Because that seems to be another profession I see a lot of people in bands doing is truck driver, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Ricky does have driver energy, though.
It's just...
this is the second podcast in a row we said now we got to reference Coal Chamber again. I'm gonna have to put that into the edit.
But yeah, that show was like on a Wednesday, in Whitehall, which from like the Harrisburg area is like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. So it's kind of far, and it's a Wednesday. I fucking love Keep Flying. I'm probably still gonna go to that show just because I love that band so much. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it sucks in the moment, but it's like, whatever, we move on. Like, I always think of it this way, like, because I handle a lot of like the show offers and stuff too, just because I run the social media and stuff. At the end of the day, we're not paying each other to like play these shows and stuff. So I like your work has to come first because it's your livelihood. Like, you got to pay your bills and shit. So like, if I could be like, hey everybody, I get to pay you a salary. Now you have to play all the shows I want to play.
Right.
Then it would work like that. But like,
no, much like that douchebag on the internet says, don't quit your day job, right?
Yeah, we listen to him. We live by those words.
Yeah, I wish I could quit my day job. I
was going to, but then I read that comment and I was like, damn, I can't do it.
Yeah, and we also
Big G, Jimmy, John, or whatever his name was.
And we also a lot of us the second week of January we went on a 6-day tour with Bedroom Floor, 4 of those days being weekdays. So most of us burn up a decent chunk of vacation the second week of the year. So there's not a lot of me. I'm thankful enough to have a decent chunk of vacation and Aurie accrues vacation time as he works more and stuff like that. But I get that not all of us have it because sometimes people actually want to go on vacations that aren't music related.
Oh no, I hear that. That's
Crazy.
that's actually something I was always really curious about, not being a musician or in a band myself, is that how do you guys balance your, adult job with, being a musician? So do you have to eat up a lot of PTO, or do you tend to focus your shows on a lot of the days you have off? Because I feel like if you're a musician, touring or not, and you have a full-time job, it's basically like you have no days off.
Elsewhere, I think, has only played one weekday show, and it was a Friday night. That wasn't on tour.
Ever?
That wasn't a tour-based show, but like just a show. Like
few, but more than
name
one.
them.
But
Name them.
What's your one? Was your one
Alisana? Alisana was
No.
Friday night.
Nope. Friday night was JB's in the city. We were playing with Burden of Guilt and Lexi.
That show started at 9 o'clock.
On Friday night.
Sorry, I forgot about that one. It just started so late. Like I had a chance to go home and take.
The answer is there's a few exceptions, but mostly we were like a weekend warrior band.
Put an asterisk next to it.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing I've learned, especially with booking my first show, is that weekdays are really hard for local bands, especially because you have to, it's not like a solo artist thing where you could take one PTO day or focus it around a day off or something and be fine. For you guys, you have to work around basically 5 other schedules, so stuff like that would be really rough, I'd imagine.
Yeah, especially since we're on 2 different shifts, so like that Friday night show, I think I was the only one that had to take off because I work nights. Right. But like everyone else could just come after work.
You didn't take off. You worked until our set. You came late. You came at like 10 o'clock.
Did I?
Yeah, you still worked. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really
showing your scrubs.
It's
I only work 7:30 to 4 every day. So like, and if I need to leave early, I can just work longer the next day. So my life is real easy for shows.
So what do you do that your schedule is easily balanced out like that?
Let me tell you about the most boring job in the world.
Eggs.
So I am a purchasing agent for a food service company. I buy like tractor trailer loads of French fries, tractor trailer loads of cheese
for everyone,
tractor trailer loads of chicken tenders and stuff like that.
Look at him bragging over here.
Nice. Bro, a tractor trailer load full of fries? Sign me up.
Yeah, 48,000 pounds of French fries every week.
I am about that life.
It's
chicken tendies and fries. Put them in my belly.
Get in my belly.
Yeah, the first tour we did last summer with Bedroom Floor, I watched Aurie eat French fries. I think 4 out of 4 days because we could not seem to get a handle on any kind of vegan food for him.
Yeah, I feel like that's really hard because I've tried some of the vegan options, especially at, fast food places, but there's a small part of me that thinks like they fry this in the same oil. They have to, So I don't know. Like, I mean, they're not bad options. I liked what I had so far between the Impossible Breakfast Sandwich from Starbucks and the Impossible Whopper and the Impossible Nuggets from KFC, but there's a small part of me that's like, this is all cooked in the same stuff. Like, it has to be.
Yeah.
Aurie is an Impossible Whopper stan.
Hell yeah.
loves the Impossible Whopper.
Simp for the king. I simp for the king.
Tell him your Milton story.
No, we already talked about it.
We didn't talk about it on this show, so
it's not that good of a story. I was coming home from seeing escape artists in Bedroom Floor at the Milton Art Academy.
No, it was our show, not that one.
That was at our show when we played pop post punk prom.
Punk rock prom.
Yeah. And it was like driving back on 11:15, and there's that Burger King / whatever convenience store it is now, and I think I pulled up at like 1 o'clock. It was like 1 o'clock on the dot, and I looked in the door. It said closes at 1, but like they didn't lock the door yet, and it went through my mind. I was like,
You were gonna be that guy, weren't you?
I was I wasn't maybe this close. I was maybe like this close, but I was like, oh
Like,
man.
every person in that kitchen was staring daggers through you until you walked away.
Yeah,
That's all we-
I was like,
That's
I was
all we
about to-
talked about during that show too. He's like, "Oh, I can't wait to get that Whopper after."
I
this
was looking
show."
forward to it because I thought about stopping before, but it's like I don't know. I'm like someone who doesn't like to stop on like a road trip, so like stopping is kind of a big deal for me. And I was like, I got off the highway, and
Yeah,
now I'm not even gonna get my whoppy.
You make an event of it.
So I only got back in my car and drove another hour and a half home.
Oh, that's mad upsetty spaghetti, bro.
The worst day of my life. I'll write a song about it.
Oh, you definitely should. But no, kind of harkening back to the scheduling thing. Because for Reignite Fest, one of the members of the fire hall actually suggested that we try doing it on Thanksgiving Eve. And there was a part of me, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's going to work. So I reached out to Eric of Traverse the Abyss and Nikki of Renovair. And I was like, hey, you guys are a lot more familiar with booking. With it being a Wednesday and the eve of a holiday, would this be a smart idea? And they both gave me some really sound advice. They're like, Wednesdays are really hard as it is.
Yeah.
And with it being the eve of a holiday, you know, people are going to be traveling to go see family and stuff. So that if you want a decent turnout for your show, you're probably not going to want to do it then. And Nikki actually gave me some really sound advice. And I mean, you can add to this as well because you guys do the shows. But she basically said that if you can find 3 reasons that nobody will come to your show, it's probably best not to book it for that day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard sell. I mean, we played shows and like without noticing, like the Bunny the Bear show we played last time was on Super Bowl Sunday, and we didn't even think about it. And the fucking Eagles had to get there.
Made it
The
to the Super Bowl
fucking
that year.
Eagles had to do it. So then we were like double screwed because not only like people are going to be going to Super Bowl parties just to do it, but they're going to be also doing it because of the Eagles are in it.
Yeah.
So that show, like, I think could have done 3 to 4 times better if it hadn't been Super Bowl Sunday. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So it definitely, like, I think we've accidentally booked shows on like Mother's Day too. Like, it does affect. It does. give
Yeah,
people-
Texas in July was the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend.
Woof.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, May 7th. Because
Yikes.
my family took our mom out for Mother's Day, and I couldn't go because I had to go load in.
Oh dang! So it just had to be hey, Happy Mother's Day through text.
Yeah. She came to the show then, and my mom hates any music that has screaming in it. She likes to support me, which is very nice. But if I played like classic rock, my mom would love it. But she's like, I don't really get that screaming stuff.
See,
She just hates me.
That's how my old man is too. I alluded to this in your guys' show. Is that, you know, he's supportive of what I do, but it's more or less like he doesn't understand a lot of it. And he's like, I don't get that. It's screaming, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I mean, you just kind of have to vibe with it, you know, like everybody has their taste. But my dad, if he does listen to rock, because, you know, I grew up in one of them boot scooting, rootin' tootin' country families. So, but what
Right.
rock he does listen to is generally like AC/DC or the occasional Metallica or something like that. Nothing too out of left field, you know. But it's super cool that, I mean, your mom may not understand it, but she's like, oh, I'm still going out and supporting my boy.
Yeah, if you've been to an Elsewhere show, you've probably also seen or met my mom. And I think my parents at first didn't understand it and didn't like it. But I think eventually they started to like learn that it's like hard to scream. It's a skill that you have to like develop.
Mhm.
And I think that she at least like understands it now or like respects it. She doesn't like it. She's not gonna like listen to it on her own, but like I think she realizes like, okay, this is something that's difficult to do. This is something that these people put a lot of time into, so like I can kind of enjoy it more just knowing that
Right.
it's a skill performed in front of me.
Yeah, it's respecting the hustle, but it may not be their cup of tea, and they understand that, or they won't go out of their way to listen to it, but they'll still support you because they know you put in the work.
Yeah.
And she's also been to some really big shows, so she's like, "Oh wow, they're actually kind of good." So
yeah,
my mom has seen Alisana like twice.
which take that to the bank, internet douchebags. It takes work.
Yeah, I've been doing fucking YouTube tutorials learning how to scream and shit since I was like in high school. It's like not my first rodeo.
So one of the gags on your guys' show is Aurie, you're the worst vocalist ever.
Yeah.
And me alluding to the internet douchebags. Well, what's the story behind the worst vocalist ever, and how do you guys handle the internet trolls or the boomers who are like, oh, you should try Metallica, this ain't metal, or the stuff like that? How do you guys handle that?
You telling it or am I?
You both can.
I will. You can tell. I'll preface this by saying that if you have time to insult a fucking local band with less than 700 Instagram followers, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, yeah. Hit me with something. Hit me with something original. I mean, you can call me fat all day, but I'm also gonna call myself fat all day. At least hit me with something funny so I can laugh at you, fucking pieces of shit.
So it originated from when we released our Ceiling. I've Lost That Lovely Ceiling that was released on BBTV. Someone like the original post was, oh, I really like this song. The vocalist is fantastic or something.
Mm.
And then someone replied to that comment and said, I'm pretty sure verbatim, what are you talking about? This is the worst vocalist in the world. And then I think I replied to it and I said, I forget what I said exactly, but I was like, thanks for leaving a comment, and then I put like hyphen Aurie. Because I thought it was just funny, and I just wanted them to like know that like, yeah, I read, like I'm here, I'm reading it, I'm all here for it. I don't really like. It sucks because like the original comment was so nice. Like I'm someone who has a really hard time processing emotions when there's like a dichotomy. So like the first one being nice and then the second one being mean was more hurtful than if he would have posted it separately. I was like, I had something nice and you ruined it. Just post it separately. Post it on a separate comment.
That's one thing I always lean on, because Tyler, being a wrestling fan, I'm sure you know this, as well from their point of view. But when you're on the internet and you get someone who chastises you for what you do, you can have a million good comments, right? But it's that one bad one that you latch onto, and then you're like, well, fuck this guy. Not going through all the other good ones and be like, oh, thank you, you're so nice, I'm, whatever. It's that one comment, and you're like, that's gonna eat at me all goddamn day. So, whether you be a musician or a wrestler or a poet, whatever, you always have those people who are judging what you do and who are making those negative comments. And then, but I think a lot of it too is they do it and they don't expect you to hockey check them. And like, so you'll comment and be like, oh, well, thanks for the comment, and you put your name, and then I can guarantee you at least 80% of those commenters would be like, oh shit, it's a real person.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, people are really comfortable and not anonymity, whatever that word is. Anonymity.
Okay, don't hurt yourself.
But also, like, it doesn't like actually like, it doesn't make me feel good by any means, but like, I understand vocals is like the most subjective part of music is vocals. So like, I think it's more funny, and like we've had so much content off of it now, I should like thank the person. I should be like, thank you, you gave me something to talk about for like
right. Well, it's like everybody hating on Nickelback just for the sake of hating on them.
That's the reason they're still a band.
And Chad's like, listen, it's because of all you guys talking that we're still here, all the memes and stuff. Like, our names are in all of your guys' mouth. We are inhabiting your brains, and that is why we're still here. It's because of your meme hatred that we're still a band and we're still making music, because there's still people who you know, they'll go out and support them, but they're still at the forefront of everybody's mind. So it's just like, let the haters keep talking. It's only gonna, you know, at some point or another, like, yeah, it may, you know, it's still negative, but if you can make a running gag of it, it's just gonna make you more popular.
Yeah, that post we had with the boomers was like one of our most interacted posts, even if it was just like people commenting, arguing or whatever.
Was
It
that was
still
that the one?
tracks.
Was that the one Nikki and I were commenting on?
I
I
believe
think so. Let me look here real quick. I think on Instagram.
You have it saved.
Because I
It's
remember
all
it
good,
was a
that-
Facebook reel.
It's Facebook.
Well, I mean,
was it Facebook?
it's
Oh.
well, it's still in a roundabout way Instagram too. If you posted it, to
Yeah,
both.
it's all owned by the same.
Yeah, it had like 3,900 views on it on Facebook. Instagram has like 3,500 views on it.
And that was all because someone talked shit. So it's
Yeah.
like, thank you.
But like, if I remember correctly, that particular video, that's the don't quit your day job guy. And then
Yeah.
I came in with basically like, listen, unless you could do it better, shut the fuck up. And that was actually one of my first JRagnarokPromotions content posts is like, listen, you come after my homies and I will fight you.
Yeah, so it ultimately just helps us. So like, and if you're old and you hate us, please comment on every post we make.
Yeah.
Please, I give you permission.
Yeah, please do it. And then I'm gonna come beat the shit out of your grandson.
When we show grandma stamps.
Beat the shit out of your grandson and mess around with your wife.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't.
hell. Oh boy, internet jerkwads. You gotta love them. So, one thing, because again, as I said last night, I was going through like all your guys' albums and your music and stuff. One thing I noticed with you guys, and it's something I don't even remember if I've heard before, in terms of musical style, is Aurie, you do a mix of singing, screaming, and spoken word. So where did the inspiration for that come from?
One of the things that I really enjoy and that means a lot to me is my lyrics. Like I kind of consider myself like a rare kind of like a lot of people love performing and a lot of people love like getting to put the music out there. I love writing. Like the creative process and the writing to me means the most to me and it's where I can like really put myself into. So I have this thing where like I think the reason why I'm not into a lot of deathcore and why I'm not into like the super heavy metal is because I can't understand it. Not to be like that guy like, oh, they're screaming, you
Oh.
can't understand anything they're saying.
Okay, boomer.
And outside
But-
of the problematic behaviors.
But so like to me, like when I scream, I know people are going to say the same thing about me, but I really try to add diction. Like I really try to make it so that even when I'm screaming you can understand. I know
Right.
some parts are probably easier than others to understand, so I think I do like that sometimes. Like I practice this a lot and I worked on this a lot, like that transition from talking to kind of yelling to screaming being like a smooth transition instead of like I have a clean voice and I have a heavy voice and there's like it's one or the other. I think that adds a lot of emotion and I think that helps the lyrics come out and I think it helps everything and it's something that I've worked on a lot.
Right on. Well, I definitely really enjoy that style. Now that I actually took the time to sit and listen to it, it's very. One thing I notice about a lot of the bands I'm getting into is, I think, especially with deathcore, a lot of it, and I hate to sound like that guy, but seems like really samey. And I think there are a lot of bands who are trying to break away from that mold, whether it be in deathcore or metalcore or any other subgenre for that matter. They're like, I don't want to be that same cookie cutter rock band or deathcore band. So they incorporate a different style to it. And with you doing like your different singing styles, I think that's like a breath of fresh air for the scene. And it's something, again, I mean, you guys are probably a little bit more versed in similar styles to you than I am, but that's something I've never really heard before.
Yeah, it's from somebody who's not doing those vocals. It's pretty unique. We have a new song that is just needs mixed and mastered. It's going to be on the new album out 11/3, called "Painted Over," which I got to hear the demo for the other day before it's been fully mixed and mastered. And there's a great spot where it seamlessly goes from spoken word, hits like a singy scream, and then hits a full on scream in like a 20-second period, and it builds the part up so well.
Yeah, if you like that style, there's a lot of songs on this upcoming album that's gonna really fit that.
Yeah.
That's out on November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Now
Yeah.
this isn't the one that you guys were promoting on your page, because wasn't there something supposed to come out the 4th, or is that like a video or?
The 4th's the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because wait, that's the one at HMAC, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Show him the flyer. Show him the flyer. Or you printed out a flyer for it. So you can
Oh, check that out.
Oh, my hands are in the way. But yeah, come to that shit.
Yeah. We'll definitely be plugging that again at the end, because I want a little bit of a reminder at the end, like, hey, like, go check out all these shows. So we'll definitely come back to that. But thank you for showing that. I'll also plug it in the video as well.
Yeah,
also,
just
another thing.
Just show that picture. Don't actually get like a just the picture of him holding
my
it.
face.
Yeah. It's like take a screenshot of you holding it and then just put that picture.
Within the Discord, not like even like the layers.
Right.
No, post it to Twitter and then screenshot it on Twitter, then post it to Instagram, then screenshot it. So I love those like pictures that are like screenshotted 3,000 times, and you can like
the
unpeel the layers.
Yeah. So one thing
Sorry,
about
Keith,
that
one
show.
second.
Oh, go ahead.
Before you, I just want to touch on your talking about like everybody being like, you kind of fall into that cookie cutter trend. And I feel like I've been seeing it a lot in deathcore currently, and a lot of metalcore. Like Lorna Shore got really popular 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now everybody just makes Lorna Shore core.
Yeah.
Like,
oh no, I agree, because the band, and don't get me wrong, I like Lorna Shore, I love Slaughter to Prevail, I love bands like that, but I feel like, and again, we alluded to this in your guys' show, go check it out on Spotify, quick plug, Pass the Aux. But I feel like because of certain songs of theirs gaining so much internet popularity, I feel like that's basically all they're known for. And because they're popular on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, everybody was like, oh, I want to ride that fame train. So they make very similar sounds. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a good way to get yourselves known, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I prefer originality to the same thing over and over and over again.
yeah. And I will say, being the guy who runs a lot of the social media, playing the game is very hard. It's not easy. If you're not in a band, or somebody like you who deals with a lot of the internet stuff, you don't necessarily see the time and effort that needs to go into making yourself popular on the internet. But this is going to sound really boomery. I think sometimes bands spend too much time trying to get popular on the internet. So like, you spend 40 hours a week on the internet, and then you play a show on the weekend, and you can't sell more than 5 tickets to that show. What's that even fucking matter then? Like, you gotta, like, I say it all the time in private, but like, if you can't sell a ticket to a show, you can be as popular as you want on the internet, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because ultimately, internet popularity is great, but it's the turnout to the shows that ultimately leads to your success. Unless YouTube or TikTok, or hell, I don't even know if Instagram's doing it now, where your content can get you money. And even then, I still feel like it's kind of like Spotify, where it's like cents on the dollar, even if you do get monetized. Ultimately, it's going to be the people that turn up to shows that is going to make your profession a little bit more lucrative, because they're the ones who are buying merch. They're the ones who are coming out and meeting you guys and making those memories, which make them want to continue to come back and continue to buy tickets. So again, as you said, internet popularity is great, but it's, you still have to get people to turn out to your shows.
Exactly. And let me just, these 2 instances, who like we've gotten 2 great friends out of just people coming to our shows, and many more that I'm not going to name. But our friend Skylar, who holds the record for seeing the most Elsewhere shows, and I don't know how she's done it. I think she told me the other day she's seen 25 Elsewhere shows, which is probably almost every show we've ever played. But she saw us when we opened for Alisana, just randomly. She came to see Alisana and then found us, and now is like one of our best friends in music. Like, she comes out and supports us all the time. Like, she works with bands as well. I don't 100% know what she does, but I know she is just constantly talking about us, and I know that we are really annoying people. And just the fact that she can still talk about us is crazy. And then I've definitely told this story on the podcast before, but Jesse from Bedroom Floor.
Right.
Solid chance that we are not in the position we are if Jesse hadn't seen us at Alisana as well. Like, Jesse saw us play, followed us on Instagram. I followed him back. 3 months later, he's like, hey, I saw you guys at Alisana. You guys were fucking incredible. My band is looking to do like a small tour. Do you want to do it? And we did it. We did 4 days in the summer, and then we did another 6 days in the winter. And like, now all those guys are our friends now, like some of our best friends in music. And like, it's crazy how like just at a show you just become great friends with people.
Oh, precisely. I mean, and as I've alluded to before, that's basically how I got into doing what I'm doing. You know, I went to, you know, a couple shows where Suicide Puppets were opening up for some like Cradle of Filth and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, these guys are local, like that's really cool. And then I went to a V-Spot show where I saw Escape Artist and Toothless and Cruel Bomb and Traverse the Abyss, and I'm like, wow, all these guys are from Pennsylvania, like this is bonkers. Like these guys are better than some of the more well-known bands I listen to, you know. And so I started getting into that. And it's when I went to the Keystone Stage show with Traverse the Abyss, Nailbite, another band I still don't know if I'm super comfortable talking about right now because they landed themselves in a lot of hot water, and Variant Season. After seeing them, I'm like, okay, I actually want to do something with this. I may not be on stage, but I want to work beside it. So I was like, I want to start doing something. And then after that show, I was like posting pictures and all of my old live videos. And then when you guys dropped the video for Knife, I'm like, I have to react to this. This is going to be my first reaction video. And albeit it was quality-wise, I'm like, I'm just working with what I have. So, it wasn't the best quality-wise, but it's ultimately you guys that started me on my content creation journey. So like, not to kind of like toot my horn here or try to get the rub from you guys, but like, how does it feel to see that people are actually doing, I mean, I don't know if anyone aside from me is doing it, but people are actually doing reaction content to your stuff or doing content related to you guys that's outside of your band?
It's fucking wild to see. Like, to see anybody, like, to see the fact that like some Spotify songs have like, I think Ceiling is closing in on 3,000 streams. Not crazy by any means, but like,
that's a whole $5.
People listen to this song 3,000 times. Like, what the fuck? It's just so weird to see that something I've been a part of or that we've all been a part of is like garnered any form of success.
Yeah, it's just like looking at that stuff too. It's like crazy that like songs have different like lifespans, because like when we first released Fangs, like the Way Message was the lowest streaming song, and I was kind of heartbroken because I wrote that song, and it's like it's our emo song, it's like the singing song, it's like a little bit different for us, and it did the worst. I was like, well fuck, I guess I'll never write a song like this, or they'll never let me write another song again. But now it's like our number, and now it's their fifth. Now it's like fifth in our like most popular stream because of shout out Lexi and shout out Skylar. I think they're pumping it up a little bit, and it makes me feel happy. And we're gonna write another Away Message song. I wrote another Away Message type song. It's gonna be on. I Hope It Haunts You. So if you like that,
out on November 3rd.
Out on November 3rd. Subtle plugs. But no, if there's one thing I definitely, you know, agree with is that, you know, you guys definitely deserve your flowers, right? Because every show I've been to, now I haven't been to 25, unfortunately. I think I've only been to, in the past year, maybe been to like 4 or 5, I want to say. Because I remember it was what, XL Live, Love Drafts, Punk Rock Prom, and I think there might have been one other one. But every time I've seen you guys live, and again, I know I'm going to sound like a kiss ass for saying this, but you guys put so much heart and energy into what you guys do. I feel like the people who leave those negative comments or who are not enjoying your shows just don't take the time to, and this sounds so hipster, but don't take the time to get it. You know what I mean? Because you guys are, you convey so much in everything that you do, and you guys put forth so much energy into your shows and stuff. Like, I feel like it's really hard to not like you guys.
Wow, you should really get to know us then.
It's like if I was trying to convince someone to like the band, I would been like, the Grand Mal Stam show was like the perfect spot where I'd be like, this is what we are about. We're about small fucking rooms, push pit, wall to wall. We're just gonna have a blast. Everyone is like pushing each other, but they're all like looking out for each other. You know, like everyone's just having a good time. You can be in the back, just watching. You can be up front pushing. You can be shouting the words. You can just be just listening from the outside the venue. But like that's what we're about. And like we put music
be wooing
out
at
there.
the wrong time, escape
You
artist.
could be escape artist. You fucked up.
Ooh, call out.
As like we want to put music out there to get you to come to a show because that's what we love and that's where we can like show you like this is what Elsewhere's about. This is what we love.
Right.
The music part, like it's important. I know Josh is very, does recording and stuff for a living and that's what he's passionate about. But I think even Josh would agree like live's where it's at. Like
I agree, and I'm not even saying that from a musician standpoint. I'm saying it as a fan, right? Because I listen on my phone or in the car or something. Excuse me. And don't get me wrong, like I enjoy the music.
Yeah.
But I feel like at a show, it's just a different energy, right? Because when you're at a show, you want to move. You want to get rowdy. You want to be with the band, so to speak, and go along with them on their journey through that particular show. And it's such a different vibe live than it is if you're just listening to it, on your commute to work or something. Because you're in your car and you're like, or you sing along or whatever. But when you go to a show, you actually move. Or at least I hope people would. I'm generally in front and I don't look behind me much, so I don't know if there's a lot of dead fish in the crowd, but I know for me, I'm always the type of person where I go just as hard for the opener as I would the closer. So, like, I'm constantly like headbanging, moving. Now I don't get in pits very often because I'm old and I don't want to wake up, hurting the next day. But it's definitely an entirely different energy, which leads me to ask, like, at live shows, what is it that just really makes you happy to see at a live show? Like, what is it about live shows that really just make you the happiest you could ever be?
Oh my god, that's such a good question.
I got it. If you have to think about it, I know what it is.
No, I don't think about it, but you go first.
Mine is seeing my friends in the crowd. Like, I know it's about making new fans and making new friends and stuff, but if I like Grand Mal Stam's, the audience, I mean, I'll say we didn't have like the biggest turnout in the room. We probably should have not gotten many more people into that room if more people would have came because it's not a very big room and it would have been unsafe. But the fact that like I knew 95% of those people personally, like I think I almost cried about 6 times during our set. Like it was just so much fun. Also, anytime you see me playing live, watch my face. I almost cry at least one time during every show. Just because there's so much emotion in the room. Like, it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying, guys. This is the emotion I'm talking about. What about you, Aurie?
I think for me, it's like, it's like people. I like being able to do like crowd vocals, like put the mic out to people and them like knowing the lyrics and like people that are up front going along with it. I think we have a clip at Grandma Stam's where it's and I'm gonna sound like the biggest. I don't know her name. It's Ghosty Muffin on Instagram, but
Her name's
this
her
is the
name's
first
Jess.
time.
Her name's Jess. I just found
Okay.
it out at that show.
Okay.
FYI.
Okay.
So.
Super cool. Like we've interacted with her a lot on Instagram, but during Knife, Jesse comes up. He's going absolute ape shit, doing his guest part on Knife, and then I see her and she's going along word for word. I'm just like, yeah, we're about to have two people grabbing the mic right now, and I give her the mic and she does like part like I think part of my part with Jesse or part of even Jesse's part. They're both doing it, and it was just like insane. And then Jesse goes to do this like bleh, which like I gave to Jesse because I don't do blez a lot. And she goes down in the video. I think it's the clip Tyler's gonna send you. She like does this like slide, and she's like, bleh. It's just amazing. And I watch that clip and I smile so much. It's that and like I really do enjoy having people come up on stage and do a vocal part, especially when it's like people that are just like they don't do it. Like it's not like I love having Jesse up there and Aaron from Escape Artist. Don't get me wrong, like that's still awesome. It still makes me feel happy. But it's like when people that don't normally get that chance or that opportunity, and they're like, I get to do something that I don't normally get to do. That makes me feel awesome too, because that's like, I hope that if they want to do that, like I know like Willie, who's in our server a lot and is a friend of mine, like I think like he's interested in starting a band. So it's like if that gets you inspired to start a band and do something that you love, that's awesome, because that's what started me. Like I had a spark and then I wanted to do this. So I think it's cool. Like when Ren joined us and Ren did part of Unsure, I like literally stepped off like I like stepped away and I was just like, this is Ren's song. Like this, I just want to watch because this is so cool.
So in a roundabout way, I think what you're basically saying is it's like you like having people that don't generally come up on stage with you do those parts, and like that makes memories for them and that inspires them. And for like, and I don't hear this from a lot of musicians, but it seems like your goal is it's like I want to inspire people to do music as well. So if they want to come up and do a part with me, get the hell up here and do it. Let's get this stuck in your head, and hopefully it'll inspire you to do something.
That, and it's just like I don't know. Like I want like one of the reasons why we started our podcast too is because like I want to like strengthen the community. I want like people to feel like welcomed. I want people to feel
Right.
like I'm not on stage because like I'm special, you know, like I'm on stage because I'm with this group of people and we all decided that this is something we want to work on doing, but that's not exclusive to anyone else. And I think it's that, and I think I also love writing. So like if I write something and someone likes what I wrote and I want to perform what I wrote, that's fucking cool with me. Like it doesn't have to be me. Like I don't think I'm like the centerpiece of Elsewhere. Like it could be like maybe writing wise I bring a lot, but like I just want to involve, if you went on stage with me, just tell me. It's not like a big deal at all. Like I will get you up there. We'll find a part. We'll do something. Like it's just gonna be fun. If you're having fun, I'm having fun. I don't care if I have to sit out a song, you know, like.
And then David will just get pushed back to like whatever song you relegate him to. Or his brother David just gets pushed back and pushed back. Like he doesn't even get the choice of song he gets to do guest parts on anymore. Because there's a long list. Like at the Grandma Stam show, I think five of 7 songs had a guest spot in them.
Well, I mean, that's something I think is really cool that you guys do, is the fact that you give so many opportunities for people to come up and get on stage with you guys. And as I alluded to before, I feel like that makes a lot of memories for people and something that's long lasting with them. And again, that may inspire them to do music of their own or maybe do collabs with you at some point in the future. So not only does that inspire them, but that also gives you opportunities to be like, hey, I can work with this person and we can do more. So it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, we're definitely a band that like doesn't shy away from features, because like it's just there's so much talent in this area. Like what am I supposed to do? Not ask people to like be a part of a song? Or like there's parts of songs where I'm like, I can write this, but I know I'm not the best voice for it. And like I'm a big enough person to just be like, I can find someone to do this part better. And like that's like kind of like how Knife, I was like, this is such a kick-ass part for Jesse. Like, I know
Yeah.
Jesse would knock this out. So like we got Jesse, and
And
when
he
we were doing
did.
paper, yeah, and he absolutely crushed it. And then like doing paper flowers, I wanted to have this like back and forth kind of, and I was like, who would be great for this? Nikki would be great for this. So like, I don't know, there's like, I feel like more bands should feature local bands. Like, I think it's such a like a trendy thing to like pay a lot of money to get like a big artist on your song, because like if you're playing the game, like you hope that like name will just get you plays just because it's a big name,
Right.
which is cool. Like if you do that, it's fine, it's cool. But there's so much talent in this like local area that, I don't know, for us this is like, it's more fun to just feature a local artist that can actually come to the show, maybe, you know, like every now and then, and actually do the part with
Right.
you. That's more fulfilling to me than to just get like a big name and be like, oh, we had so and so from so and so band.
Right. No,
Both are
I
cool,
feel
but
that. No,
So
'cause-
Keith, we'll
yeah.
pencil you in for Knife at Reignite Fest, right?
Ew, I don't know.
Just come up on stage and hit the blah.
the blah. Just do the blah.
Oh man. See, I don't know who made Bleh a thing, but I know Motionless in White popularized it, and I have pride in knowing that, hey, another PA band did a popular core thing, and you know, yay, we get our stroke.
Yeah, PA is also the maker of the O breakdown.
Is it really?
Yeah, we used to always call it the Lancaster breakdown, because like ABR in Texas used to do it a lot. Those are the only bands that I could think of at that time that were doing it, and bands have started it before, but we used to call that the Lancaster breakdown.
Oh dang, I didn't know that. I'm learning up in this bitch.
That's how old I am.
Well, which is funny because I think I'm actually older than you, and I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
I think it's just because in the genre of metal I was into, like I wasn't super into like August Burns Red or what the hell were the other big ones at the time. For some reason I want to lean on Attack because I know you guys talked about them a bunch. And there's like a couple other bands similar to that I didn't get super into. So there's a lot of lore, so to speak, that I don't know in regards to that. In terms of like the breakdown or the blech or the O or the Lancaster break, whatever you want to call it. I did not know that. So because I'm a new metal kid, so if there's hip hop and metal, I've probably heard of it. But then again, I also never listened to Coal Chamber until just recently. So, yay.
Do you fuck with Body Count?
Not regularly. I remember when they released their song, their cover with "Upon a Burning Body" of "Turn Down for What." I was all about them, and I think they did a Gears of War song, and I am a huge Gears of War fan. So I remember that. But I mean, I respect Body Count for what I've heard. I liked what I've heard, but I don't know much about them to really formulate a super huge opinion.
Yeah, I don't know much either, but I know they're a rap. I know Ice-T fronts a metal band, and I like the songs I've heard.
But yeah, so it's in terms of that, no, I did not know much. And in terms of getting on stage, maybe if in the next couple months I learn how to properly do it, I'll definitely let you know.
I don't know how to properly do it. You ever hear me behind the mic? I just yell. That's all I do. I just yell real loud.
Well, see, being a hype guy, I feel like, you know, with enough oomph, I could probably do that. But to actually sing, not until I do a little bit of training. Because I remember, truth be told, I actually wanted to learn how to do it when I was younger, and I was trying to sing along with, what was it? This Calling by All That Remains. And what was it? Was it Knives and Pens by Black Veil Brides? Was that it? I don't remember, but it was a Black Veil Bride song, definitely. And I remember, because I wasn't using proper technique, because I had no clue what I was doing, I shot the shit out of my vocal cords.
Oh
So
shit.
yeah, it was no es bueno, no es bueno.
I know a good YouTube channel you could watch if you need to.
Yeah.
What is it? It's Ghost what?
No, it's shut the fuck up.com.
Keith, I will say, Keith, I'll say you mentioned you saw Suicide Puppets open for Cradle of Filth,
Yes,
and I'm sure that was a great show.
indeed
But
it
you had
was.
you really had a missed opportunity because also that same night, a small band called Elsewhere was playing the bottom stage at HMAC.
Yes,
The little boy stage.
I do remember. Now that you say that, I remember that because I think it was you guys, Escape Artist.
Bedroom floor,
Bedroom
Jaw.
floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember messaging Gavin. I was like, hey, I don't know when your show is, but if I can, like, I don't know if they even let us go down, but if, there's a point I can catch up with you at some point. Because obviously, if you guys' shows are going at the same time, I'm not going to catch you at your show or whatever. But that, I felt so conflicted because that Cradle of Filth show, I've wanted to see Cradle of Filth for so long. But then I saw that you guys and Escape Artists were playing the same day, and I'm like, oh no.
We saw a lot of edgy shirts that night.
Yes, lots and lots of edgy shirts with naked people on them.
That was a good show for us. We were very worried about Cradle of Filth being upstairs that night because we had a friend who played in that show that night too in a band called Jaw named Jose, who is featured on
Fangs.
the title track to A Different Side of Fangs. Worked at HMAC at the time, was the one who set up the show,
Right.
and there had been rumors of like, oh, maybe you can just combine the shows or something like that. And we were like, these Cradle of Filth fans are going to eat us alive. And then we found out then it had to be like a buy-on and shit. And we were like, we're just going to do the bottom stage. And we probably sold 65 tickets to that show that night. Like we had a good turnout.
Well, for Stage on Her, that's actually not a bad turnout because Stage on Her is kind of akin to like a Keystone stage where you can fit probably 60 to 100 people, maybe a little bit more, give or take. Well, it could probably fit more because I mean they've hosted like Gemini Syndrome and Wednesday 13 and stuff down there, but it's a much obviously smaller venue within HMAC, and I feel like that's a little bit more intimate. And I think for that, and especially with competing with like Cradle of Filth, I don't think that's a bad turnout at all.
No, we did well that night.
That was a great. I was like, I think, yeah, it was a great stop on that tour. Yeah.
So with that being said, so competing with bands for Showtime, how about we go the opposite direction? What bands have you not shared the stage with that you would like to at some point here in the near future?
Realistically, or just a dream?
Either or. I mean, it could be a fellow local if you wanna be like, oh, the realistic approach, or it could be a bigger band if it doesn't matter. Like, who would you like to share the stage with?
Or he's gonna share some obscure post-hardcore band from 2008 that's only got one album but he loves, and nobody else is gonna get the reference.
Fuck you. Like my dream show would be like Silverstein, Movements, like Holding Absence. And, like if we could play on that bill, that would be like dream come true kind of shit.
Or he'd probably quit the band after that weekend.
Yeah.
It's like I've fulfilled my destiny. I am done now.
He hands in his microphone and he's like, I've done all I can do.
Realistically, like I'm super excited to play with Water Me Down. They're one of my favorite artists, and like booking them on the show is just insane to me. Like it's weird that we're like headlining because I respect them so much and they're so much bigger, but we kind of split the bill up to be like it's gonna be indie, like softer, quote unquote, more just like normal indie rock for
Right.
like half the show, and then it's gonna be Bedroom than us. So like it's just separated because of like the genre shift,
Right,
and everything.
like ease into the heavy, so to speak.
Yeah, and then I don't know, like playing with Belmont was amazing. I'm a big Belmont fan. Playing with Alisana has been amazing. So like as far as like local artists, I've played with a lot of the ones I really love. I played with like No Bragging Rights a lot before Elsewhere. I'd love if Lions came back. I'd love to play with those guys.
There it is. There's the obscure post-hardcore.
There's obscure. If you haven't checked out Lions, holy shit, they're a great band.
I've seen Lions live.
Their music videos are insane. If they're like that live, I've seen them live, and they're not quite like music video level, but they're still like they do a lot of shit live. I think that's like one of my biggest influences. If you like were to ask me like what I want my live show to look like, it's Lions. They do crazy shit.
But does that vocalist also hit people with his microphone?
No. Did you get the part? Speaking of, sorry, this is like did Grandma Stam's part where like I was talking about like the room was so crowded and people are like it was just wall to wall. Did you get the part on? Did Britt get the part where Jesse was like throwing down and he got close to me? I guess. And I had like the mic wrapped up and he hits like part of my mic cord and like grabs it and yanks the mic out of my hand.
Yeah.
Did you find
so.
that?
I'll sort through it again and try to find it and see.
It was towards the end, I think, but yeah, like that's how close we were. Like.
That's great.
But yeah, I just love that energy, and so I really like bands that also emulate that. That'd be my dream and realistic lineup.
What about you, Tyler? Who is a local band you'd like to share the stage with, and who's maybe a dream band you'd like to share the stage with?
Oh man, I mean, my dream band is Keep Flying, 100%. Like, I saw Keep Flying for the first time probably a year and a half ago, and I think Wednesday will be the 5th time I've seen them. But they're very interactive on social media and stuff, and we actually interviewed their drummer Pete on our podcast. Great guy. But I've slowly become friends with them and stuff. Yeah, fucking shout out to my friends and my family.
I'm fucking 21 years old today. I got these fucking Sam Adams fucking Oktoberfest shit. We're about to get fucking ignorant. I do this shit for my friends. I do this shit for my fucking family. Let's fucking go.
That episode, I'm not gonna lie, that episode was funny as shit.
Dude, he is hilarious.
So good.
But yeah, I love Keep Flying, and like I've slowly like developed like a friendship with them. So I was sad that we couldn't play with them Wednesday, but it's gonna happen at some point and stuff. And I've been in communication with them to try to get them to play Love Drafts at some point, because I know we could do that and it would be easy. As far as local bands, we've really run the gambit of a lot of local bands that I like that we've played with. I would love to play with Jesse from Bedroom Floor's other band, Knife Spitter, just because they're great. Just a real good like hardcore band. I don't even know. They're just
Wow.
I don't fucking know. They're hard to put in a genre.
Well, I feel like putting any band in a genre anymore it's really hard, because there's so many different styles of metal and subgenres of metal that a lot of bands now kind of encompass multiple styles, and it's really hard to put them in a box. That's why you get like the stuff like this blackened deathcore or, you know, melodic hardcore, whatever the case may be, because there's so many different blends of styles that I feel like you just can't put it in its own singular box.
Yeah, I would describe Elsewhere as melodic hardcore, and people are like, "What's that?" I just say, we're metalcore."
That's why I love when people come up to you and like, "Oh, you guys sound like blank," because it's always something different. Like we've had it all.
No, see, and it's funny because the first time I saw you guys, and truth be told, now that I reflected on it, and I'm like, no. I got like really big Parkway Drive vibes from you guys, and I think more or less it's because of the themes of the stuff that you guys were singing about. So that leads me to my next question. A lot of your songs, more or less are about like environmentalism, the divisiveness of the world today, and you know, there was a car horn outside. I don't know if
I heard
that. But the divisiveness of the world today and other themes kind of correlating to, you know, pretty much worldly problems that we have. Where does that stem from? Like, where do you stand on a lot of, you know, what you write about? And Aurie, I know you do the writing, but Tyler, I know you play along with it. So I imagine, you know, there's a movement that's being talked about that you could get behind, I'm sure. So what's the inspiration? Where does all that come from?
Yeah, I'll go first, Aurie, because I know you have a good answer about this. So Elsewhere really firmly believes in a lot of single-use plastic.
What the fuck?
We believe that the global warming is not real.
So I'm gonna keep talking over you because you're actually full of shit.
Also, the Earth is flat.
And also, fuck them turtles.
No, also, I mean, us as a band, we're very environmentally conscious as we can be. I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you have mega corporations polluting, 70% of the world. Like, what can I do as one individual? Oh, I can just not buy paper towels. I mean, it helps, but like, if fucking, Amazon's just dumping smog into the air every day for 24 hours a day. I don't know. Go ahead, Or. You have a better answer than I do.
So I am a science nerd, and I have like
Nerd alert! Nerd alert!
a lot of like I went for my master's, and I've
Isn't this coming from the same person that thinks risotto is pasta?
risotto is pasta.
Thank you, Keith.
I can
We've been
scientifically
Elsewhere.
prove it.
The new album's out 11/3. We're done.
Okay, before I get into the deep topic, I just have to say, like, I listened to your first episode of Local Opener podcast, and I was confused because I was like, how did you guys do a whole episode without talking about food? Like, how is that possible?
I mean, listen, I know I'm
I was
chubby,
like, what's the
but
food
that's
part?
I know I'm chubby, but truth be told, and don't get me wrong, food is a lot of my personality, but I try to stay on topic.
No, like, I'm not a foodie at all. Like, I'll eat fucking whatever microwave shit all day, every day. But
so to just interject here real quick, as a person who loves food, as a person whose food is my career basically. There's like a lot of people think that since I went to culinary school and stuff, I don't eat garbage food. Man, I love garbage food though. Like
Bro, me too.
a pack of some ramen noodles, man, a couple pizza rolls.
No, you wanna mix the garbage food with the good food before we get into the topic and the themes of your guys' songs. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but the Robert Irvine peanut butter and jelly protein bars, yes please. I am all about them.
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, you should definitely try them. But anyway, the themes the themes to your songs. Let's back on topic.
So I took like a lot of classes on like climate change, global warming, and stuff like that, and I was really interested because there's like a correlation between like mental health and like the climate of like the world, and when you're looking at it like a generation that is growing up being taught that the world is going to be changing significantly, and that whether that is like the end of civilization or if just like a massive fucking change, it doesn't matter. Like, people want to argue like, oh, is it going to end the world? Is it going to kill every human? The change that's going to happen is going to be so significant that either way it's not good. Like, if we can avoid it, we should avoid it.
Right.
Don't stop spending the time like to say how bad it is and just say it's bad, let's avoid it. So I was like really interested in that. Like, there's this like generation of people who are like being raised to be like, oh, the world's gonna fucking suck, it's gonna end or whatever, and they're like in this limbo of like, do I care, do I try to change it, or is it like some people are like, you can't, it's already done. And I struggled with that a lot. That's like there's like a lot of songs with like that mention like apathy, and it's like, are you going to be apathetic about it and just be like, I can't change it, I'm just going to live the best life I can, and then just like whatever, it doesn't matter? Or are you going to be like, put your heart into it and be like, I want to change it, I'm going to be an eco warrior, I'm going to do everything I can, and then just burn yourself out because what you love is fucking dying? And that's where I was. Like, I was so passionate about like environmentalism and stuff that it was just like heartbreaking because like you're trying so hard and it doesn't always like matter. Right. So Elsewhere is just like this. When I touch on environmentalism, I try to bring it into this like, it's better to just try and just do what you can than to just be like apathy is like such a coping mechanism that makes you feel better in a weird way. It makes you feel not at all instead of feeling bad, but it's better just to try. It's better to acknowledge that what you're up against and to try than to just be like, it's over, whatever. Because that sucks. That sucks for you, and it sucks for every fucking one else. Everyone who's trying to do something. If you're going to be apathetic and just sit on the sideline and just not be interested at all, it just you're not only then not helping, you're like slowing down the people who are actually trying.
Right. No,
So
that's definitely something I can get behind, and it's really cool too because I feel like, now correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like in terms of your themes for your songs and stuff, you are in a roundabout way, I think the least political band, where it's
I
not
like that
so
compliment.
much it's not so much the politics of like, oh, we're not being Tom McDonald or Rage Against the Machine, you know, on one end of the spectrum or the other. But you're like, listen, you know, it's more like, this is your life, you know, you got to do something to change it. And it could be about the environment. It could be about these corporations that are just siphoning the life force out of everybody beneath them and around them. You know, it could be just about mental health in and of itself and it correlating to those things. I think to bring awareness to that and not stand on real heavy on one side or the other, I think really kind of drives it home, because you're making your point known, but you're not being divisive about it. It's like, listen, you know, if you want to be apathetic, you know, okay, do you, I guess, but ultimately it's because of that nothing's getting done.
Yeah, and on the same side, like it really frustrates me that like people have like these voting issues, right, where they'll vote because of like social issues and like things like very small things. They'll not vote for a candidate because like they don't believe in the small thing, and environmentalism is just like not cared about. Like, bruh, nothing fucking matters if you don't have a place to live or you don't have like a livable habitat. Like, environmentalism needs to be the thing that you're worried about when you're voting for a candidate, because that literally nothing else matters until you get that situated. And for me, it's like, it's weird that people are like, vote for person name, vote for fucking like the reason that you're passionate about and what you think is actually going to make better. Don't put a name to it.
Yeah.
Names don't matter. Like, we have, like, I know each person in the band has a political, you know, affiliation, but like we don't like ride the coattails of any politician. Like,
All right.
like every politician has a good and a bad side, and it sucks that we're in the position where we have to vote the lesser of the evils. Like, I'm someone who's voted green. I voted third party multiple times. Like, I'd rather try to get more options than two options that suck. Like,
Yeah.
everyone who always goes against us be like, whoa, well, you think he sucks? Well, your guy sucks too. And I'm like, yes, our guy sucks too. They're both bad. That's the problem. So I
No.
don't.
So what-
People get so divided in that. It sucks.
So it's like fuck Joe Biden, but not that kind of fuck Joe Biden. Like our kind of fuck Joe Biden, but not your kind of fuck Joe Biden. Not
Yeah.
like FJB, not like let's go Brandon. This is like fuck Joe Biden because he fucking can't cancel student loan debt like a real cuck.
There's a difference between like, we don't like X, so we love Y.
Right.
Like, no,
Yeah.
we hate both. We might think Y is a little bit better than X, but we by no means wanted Y. Like,
Oh no, I hear that. And here's your daily dose of politics for the podcast, folks.
Yeah. I tried to be as algebra as possible using X and Y.
Oh, no, I know, I get it. No, it's
But we
it's
don't
one
like
of those
that.
things. It's one of those things I wanted to ask about because, again, kind of leaning on the themes of your guys' songs, it's like, it's more or less like divisiveness is not going to be something that brings us together. You know what I mean? The more we focus on one side or the other, the more it divides us, and we can't come together as a cohesive people. It's always us versus them, and it shouldn't be that. It should be everybody working for the benefit of everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Division only creates emptiness is the line from Divided.
It's a song that I've been trying to play live, but nobody wants to play it.
well, hopefully, depending on set time. Now, I imagine with you guys having a new album coming out, Reignite is probably going to be more of the hits and some newer stuff. But I'm trying to give everybody a fairly decent amount of time. So I mean, if you want to squeeze it into your set list, I'm not gonna bitch.
Keith, I'm just gonna put this out there. Keith said we had to play Divided, so
It's like I put you on this bill so you could play this one song in particular, and that's it.
I mean that's a really hard part about making new music, though. Is like, I love the songs we play currently. It's gonna be hard to phase any of them out.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. So we're kind of in the last half hour of anything, so I wanna do a couple wrap up questions, so to speak. But one thing I wanted to really ask about is, do you guys, you two in particular, or as elsewhere as a whole, like have any pet peeves or things that go on in the scene that, you know, people would like, you wish people would just kind of stop doing? Or are there any gripes that you have in terms of that? Uh-oh.
I hate when people leave during the middle of the podcast. What was that?
I don't know. I was thinking. I feel like I have some, but I can't think of any of what they are.
I have a lot. You definitely have some, because we both
Tyler,
mentioned this.
What was that segment you guys have in your show? The vegan beef one?
Vegan alternative.
Vegan alternative beef. Hit me, Aurie. You'll probably.
We both mentioned this. If we're talking specifically music, let the band have a few minutes to get their stuff off stage before you start getting on stage. That's a big pet peeve. Like, because it's quicker for both of us. Like, if you give us like 3-5 minutes to get all our stuff off, then you get your stuff on, it'll be faster than we're both trying to go up the steps at the same time. And that's a pet peeve.
I have a pedal board. Just let me get it off the stage, and then you can do whatever you want. I'm not gonna wrap my chords up nicely. I'm gonna throw them all together. I'm gonna walk off the stage. Just give me fucking 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Keep going. You're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep.
I had a bunch, but then now I was just so focused on that. I was so upset right now. Damn. I think that's
not a pet peeve, but I need to put this out here just because I feel like sometimes it makes me feel like I am a douchebag. I appreciate anybody coming to talk to me after we play and telling me if it was good, if it was bad, or you really liked it. I just need like 5 minutes after we're done playing. Like, I am very out of breath.
I don't. You come to me right after. I'll take your compliments.
I'm very out of breath. I'm very sweaty. I'm trying to like put the gear where it goes and stuff. But yeah, just give me like 2 minutes.
Direct all compliments to me.
So you're one of those like, I just got in the door. Give me 5 minutes.
It's
Can you not make noise?
Thinking of like show etiquette. There's like a lot of unspoken rules. I think we try to follow them. If we annoy anyone, let us know.
Yeah. I know I'm kind of an annoying person to begin with, so.
Is that a pity?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep, this is
beautiful.
This is Spirit, aka Piggers.
Those are two very very different names.
Well, I don't know where the name Pig came from, but we named her Spirit because when she was a puppy, she was all white, and then she got older and got fat, and then I started calling her Pig. But she's not really. She's not fat. Like, she's just stocky, you know, as pit bulls are. But she answers to both. So, but no. So, in terms of like pet peeves and unwritten rules, I hear one thing from a good chunk of bands that, you know, I see posts on Facebook or stuff like that, is if they're trying to load stuff onto the stage, they ask, like, you know, the fans and stuff, like, hey, just give us a couple minutes to get our stuff on stage, like, pop out of the way real quick. Like, don't stand by the steps, or depending on what the stage setup is like, you know, don't stand in front of the stage while they're trying to load gear. Like, give them a path to get up there. Have you ever had to deal with anything like that?
I think we're usually
I have a very solid mantra for working my way through a crowd, It's polite but firm. You just say, please, excuse me, but you don't resist. You just keep pushing through.
Right.
And people get out of your way, but you're still nice about it. You're like, excuse me, gotta get through, excuse me.
Right. So it's what we in the child development business like to call authoritative, firm but fair.
Yes. I was at a show one time at XL and it was sold out, and these two probably 18 or 19-year-old girls were on the side of the stage I was on. The bathrooms were on the other side, and they're like, how do we get over there? I was like, polite but firm. And then they disappeared and I lost them and I didn't see them the rest of the show. So I think they got eaten.
All right, so you heard it here, folks. If you're if you're going to an Elsewhere show or you're playing with Elsewhere, give them time to clear the stage and don't talk to Tyler for 5 minutes after the fact.
You can all compliments to me.
No, it's just because there's a solid 3 to 5 minutes after a set that it feels like I might die, and I don't want you to witness my death.
I do.
Unless you're into that. Unless that's for you, and then you can watch me
Just
die.
film it for me so I can play it on repeat.
So another unwritten rule I tend to see, as you alluded to with the loading and unloading of the stage and everything, is that every band should be able to tear their stuff down and the next band should be ready in a span of 15 minutes. Is that reasonable, or do you think it should be a little longer, a little shorter? Like, where do you guys stand on that?
I think 15 is solid.
15 is a perfect amount of time. We Elsewhere prides ourselves in being a very quick setup teardown band. Like we could probably, if we're hustling, 8 minutes, probably set up the full everything.
Yeah.
That's another thing I kind of wanted to do for the show I'm putting together is I wanted to give you guys a reasonable amount of time to get your shit in, but I also wanted to give everybody a reasonable amount of time to tear down, get with the other bands and see maybe if like they need help with something and whatever the case may be. So and then because I'll be talking in between sets and stuff too, because we're doing raffle prizes and I'll be peddling not peddling from the table, so to speak, but peddling your guys' merch and all that stuff. So I wanted to give a reasonable amount of time between sets to be able to get everything done and everybody can kind of just go with the flow of things. Ooh, yeah. Selfie of the screen.
It's making content. Making content, baby.
But in terms of Reignite, I want to ask because Tyler, you reached out to me when I posted about it. When you saw that post, like you were one of the first people, like within a half hour, to just jump on board with that. What was your thought process behind being like, okay, we're doing this?
I would have been quicker if I would have not been at work or whenever it was. I didn't see it right away. I would have been the first person if I would have seen it quicker. So long story short, right whenever you want to call COVID being over or whatever, not the time to discuss, but I had some friends who went through some stuff. We put on a benefit show in like a month's time. It was nuts. I had so many people reach out to me to help out, and like we raised so much money for them, and it was such a cool thing to see like the community come together. So I was like, if I can get a chance to pay it back to somebody looking to help somebody else out, I was like, we're gonna do it regardless. Like if we can swing it, we're doing it. So that was my thought process behind it, because I know what went into the planning that I had to do, and it wasn't necessarily the hardest thing in the world, but like I had so many people offer to help, donations, just people just offering me everything just to help out somebody else, and I was like, I'm paying it back as quick as I can.
I definitely appreciate you guys coming on. The reception for and the turnaround time to fill that bill was so fast. I was just like, wow. Are there any bands you guys are excited to play with in particular? Because I'm fairly certain you guys haven't played with Geode, because I think they're fairly new and they're only doing like a couple shows here and there. But is there any in particular you're super excited to share the stage with?
Escape artists is our boys.
always escape artists.
Yeah.
I'll give you the scoop right now too, because I don't know if we've talked about it, but there is a potential 3-day weekend tour with Bedroom Floor and Escape Artists happening in October.
Ooh. That's exciting.
coming to a town near you. Not really, because it's only coming to three separate towns.
Coming to 3 towns, maybe may or may not be near you.
May or may not be near
They're
you.
definitely all in the they're all in the Northeast also. Well, no, the one's in Maryland. So,
Okay.
but yeah, no.
Technically.
Truthfully, I'm excited anytime I get to play a show with new bands because I myself just love music. So anytime I get to hear new music is always good.
Right. Well, and
Yeah, I don't
the
think
cool
we've
thing,
played with One Hell Sends tonight. We've not played with yet, so I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, I've
Oh.
seen
It'll be my
them
first
once.
time seeing
I saw
them.
them once before somewhere. I forget what show I was at, but they played.
dude, they are
shows.
wild.
Yeah,
I
excited
saw
for that.
them. I saw them at V Spot when they played a Traverse show, and they knocked everybody on their ass that night. Like, they're really good. And with Brandon taking up the new guitarist spot, you know, it's super cool to, you know, have friends who are in each of these bands who are like, you know, are willing to kind of help the community out. And I was just like, wow, this is super cool. You know, so it's super cool that Brandon got the new spot, and, you know, with him being the co-host and everything, we have a little bit of an in there. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely think you'll enjoy those guys. They're all super cool dudes.
This is actually this will be, I mean, at the time of Reignite Fest will be the third time we played with them, but it'll be the second time we've played with the Art of Deception.
Ooh.
They played our the iOS Elsewhere joint EP release show back in 2019. Yeah.
Ooh, noise. Did you guys see that there's going to be a little bit of Evil Like You influence in with the Art of Deception now?
I did. I saw that guy just joined the Art of Deception.
I was like, hot dog. Yeah, because with Brett being out with Galactic Empire, you know, being the Star Wars nerd, they had an open spot, and they didn't think he'd be back back for November. So Marcus has been picking up the guitar for them, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. So, you know, we're getting people from all over the scene in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so with it being about the last 10 minutes or so, again, just a couple wrap-up questions. Do you guys have anything in particular you'd like to plug? Any upcoming shows, album releases, November 3rd, you know, anything like that, anything you'd like to put out there? You can plug stuff for your podcast too if you have stuff coming up for that.
Podcast is that podcast is made. Okay. Fuck you, Jordy. I wish I would have said this earlier, but fuck you, Jordy. Now we got a show next Saturday in Southern Maryland. First time back in Southern Maryland for like a year, so that'll be cool. See a lot of people we haven't seen in a while.
Is it with Bedroom
November?
Floor?
No, unfortunately not. No,
this is the only time we played in Maryland without Bedroom Floor.
No, we played last November was Sunny Mondays, and Bedroom Floor wasn't there.
Weren't they?
No.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, Jesse's other band, Knife Spitters, fucking playing Love Drafts, of course. Yeah, and then we have on September 23rd with Eternal Frequency, The Art of Deception, Defiant. There is one other band, Monument of a Memory.
Not to cut you off on that one. I'm not sure what the status of that show is going to be like, considering, and I hate to air this, but
Yeah.
three members of the band just left Eternal Frequency.
Oh,
so yeah, it's rough for them. I know. Well, I shouldn't say I know, but I do know that the drummer, the bass player, and the one guitar player left. So they're down to 2. So I don't know what the status of that show is going to be. So keep an eye out for that one. That may or may not be up in the air.
it's a benefit show, so I'd hope that even if they couldn't play, they'd still have it.
I
But
would hope so. I would hope so. Yeah.
Shout out if they're looking for a new headliner. I mean, Elsewhere is pretty good.
This is where like
We go from opening to headlining.
It's just, yeah. I wouldn't hold your breath, but.
Then we have a short run in October that's not been announced yet, and then the album release in 11/3, and then the show on 11/4.
Yeah, and just to clarify, because I don't think like their post, it was like November 3rd the album will be out on Spotify, and we're dropping a music video for I Hope It Haunts You that we filmed with Bob McCoy, who we did Ceiling with. So it's going to be a professional music video, album drop. That's all happening that Friday. And then Saturday, November 4th, HMAC, Stage on Her, us, Bedroom Floor, Water Me Down, Sunny Mondays, Canopy Cover. It's going to be a blast of a show. It's going to be one of those shows you don't want to miss. So that's going to be awesome.
And speaking of your guys' music video, when you guys drop that one, I think I'm not going to go through the rigmarole of doing the polls and everything like I have been doing, because I've already done one for you guys. Well, actually, I shouldn't say I've already done the poll for you guys, but I've already done a reaction video. But I think when this video drops, I'm just going to do one for that one too, just to kind of like harken back to, you know, the band that started it all, and maybe do a video with a little bit better quality to it.
Yeah, this one will be like more thematic than an AMV, but
Yo, you want the video early? I'll just send you the video now if you want
we
it.
can send it. Yeah.
Dude, it ain't going to be out for like another 3 months. Or wait.
We filmed this video, like, when did we film it? It was like
April.
May,
We filmed it in April.
April? Yeah,
we filmed it the hottest day in April. It was like 92
it
degrees
was
out
so
that day.
hot. We had, we could talk, there's a lot of stories with that, but yeah.
But, okay, so a whole slew of shows, music videos coming out, a reaction video coming from me when the music video drops. I plug my stuff enough on all of my other stuff, so I'll kind of skip the plugs for me, at least for right now.
Join the Discord, people. Join the JRagnarok Discord. Link is in the
and-
description. Join that shit.
Look where my
join,
I want to
pointing.
see you in there.
Look
I'm
where
in
my
there.
finger's pointing.
and join
My
the
finger's
Pass the
pointing
Aux
to it.
Discord too.
It's just, if you want a dead Discord, then join ours.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We get more people in yours, it won't be so dead now, will it?
We're trying.
So join the Pass the Aux Discord. Join my Discord. We do podcast stuff in both, and I talk music in both, and we do networking in mine. I'm not sure so much about you guys because your guys' podcast stuff.
We don't network in ours. We don't really use ours for
Ours is
much of it.
Unhinged.
We record podcasts and we play Fall Guys. That's all we do.
If you need a Fall Guy squad, if we're ever in the stream room, feel free to join anytime. If we're in the episode record room, that's for episodes.
If you catch us in the stream room, we're probably playing Fall Guys.
I'm probably going to be playing Baldur's Gate, so. Okay, so another kind of tail end question here. What is some advice that either of you would have for anyone who's coming up in the scene, or anyone who's already in it, whether it be a musician, a fan, you know, someone who works within it, anything at all? Any advice you guys can give?
Do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
My advice, and the corny advice would be to find what you love. Find like what you're passionate about, and just do that, and don't look at the numbers. Just do what you feel fulfilled doing. That's the corny advice. The realistic advice is look at your art.
Your views.
This is not. Look at your views. Pay for views. Pay for everything you can. Honestly, if that's what you're into, you can pay to win in music. But for a more like actual, be like, look at your music from a brand perspective. Find an aesthetic you like. Find like a brand that you like, and develop that and build off of that. If you look at the music just for the music, you'll miss out on a lot of what it means to be an artist, if that makes sense. And if you look at your music as an art form, and you consider everything else that goes with it, your like design, what your theme's going to be, you're going to actually develop something that people recognize. Like, so my goal for Elsewhere is that, like, if you see the lady and the snake, you know it's Elsewhere. If you see the name Elsewhere, you think of the lady and the snake. Like, it's that kind of like,
snake, it's Elsewhere.
if you see a snake, it's us.
If you see the name Elsewhere, it's not those two other fucking shitty people.
Yeah,
that think
we're
they have
suing
the
your
band
ass.
name.
We sued them. They're in jail. They're fucking
And
out.
it comes full circle.
So yeah, it's like it's an art, and it's more than just music. You have to think about. So yeah, that's my advice.
Everybody's pet's paying a visit today.
That's my new cat. That's my cat Meatball.
It's called Meatball. But what about you, Tyler? What is some advice you have for anyone coming up in the scene or in it?
don't take yourself too seriously. You see bands all the time, like especially like local bands. And I mean, again, you got to take the craft seriously, but people who just take themselves too seriously, honestly, the worst kind of people. Like, just have fun. Like, that's what I want people to feel like when they see Elsewhere on stage. I don't want people to be like, oh, these guys are musicians. I just want them to be like, these are 5 people just having the time of their life for a half hour. Like, before we played the Alisana show, we were like a little nervous about it because it was our first really big show. And I just remember, like, we all came in. I was like, you know what? For like for the next 30 minutes, we're the 5 coolest people in this room. So like, take that info and let's just have fun. And
hit people with the mic, kick the wedge off the stage,
Yeah.
fight old people on the internet. You know?
Said it before and I say it again. What the fuck is up? We're Elsewhere. If you came to fight, I want to see you fucking fight.
Let's do it. Hello everyone, Editor Keith here. I just wanted to chime in and let you know that I did forget the playlist segment of the podcast. So right after this little brief interruption, we'll be diving right into that. So I apologize. Thank you for listening. Back to the show.
I would add God, I Found Hell by Water Me Down. Because they're like one of my favorite artists, and we're going to be playing with them at the November 4th show.
And one song from your band.
I think we got to add Knife since we talked about it so much in the place where the knife had been.
Okay, and what about you, Tyler? What would you like to add to the playlist? One you've been bumping for the week, and one from elsewhere.
I'm a fucking shill, so I'm gonna add Hollow by Bedroom Floor.
Okie dokie.
Shout out, Jesse's on the playlist twice in the first 2. God dang.
And what about one elsewhere song from you? What would you like to add to it?
Oh, I think I gotta go with Modern Graves.
Modern Graves.
Yeah, it's the only song that features my vocals.
That's the worst song.
It features my vocals.
The worst vocals.
Is there a such thing as the worst elsewhere song?
Yeah, anyone that Aurie sings on. Is this recording? Are we recording right now?
Yeah. I'm doing a real quick recording and then just adding it in as a snippet.
Okay.
Why,
yeah, fuck you,
talk
Aurie.
shit on me? What the fuck?
I do want to talk shit on you. Fuck you real quick because when I recorded that part in Modern Graves, I wasn't in Elsewhere. You asked me to record that part.
That's not true.
I hadn't joined the band at that time.
Why would I ask you?
I don't know. That's what I thought.
I don't know if that's true.
I think that's true. That's Elsewhere lore, and it's real.
I don't think that's true.
Also, that scream part's really fast. Aurie wrote a 3rd line that goes in that part too. That was impossible to do.
Nice.
Aurie, I can't tell if you're frozen or just not moving, Aurie. Okay, there you go.
I can't tell who is who, who's lagging, or if it's me or you guys. I don't
I think it's you.
I think it's you. You're lagging on mine too.
All right.
In terms of what I'm adding, because I just recently saw them live and I've been bumping this nonstop, I think I'm going to put in When Worlds Collide by Powerman 5000. And
shout out to the Dudley boys.
Oh yeah, Bombshell. That I actually recorded a live video for that. I'll post it on my YouTube at some point here soon. But yeah, and lastly, just to end the show on a positive note, because I know it's real easy to dwell on the negative in some things. Just what's something you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for like people we mentioned, Skylar, Brandon, and his wife Ashley. That like people that come to multiple shows blows my mind, because like one time it's like, oh, you're there to see another band and you saw us and you liked us. That's cool. You come again just for us? I'm like, what the fuck? You come a 3rd time? And then I'm just like, is this a thing? Is this the thing people do? It honestly blows my mind. You come 25 times? I'm like, what? It's so honestly weird. Like I text Skylar when she's not at a show and I'm like, this is weird not seeing you at a show. Because she goes like different shows. It's not, but it's just like, this is weird. It feels weird now. People like that have absolutely like changed like my perspective of being a musician, because I never had that in bands before, where like people came to like multiple shows with any kind of consistency. So that's wild. So I'm grateful for that.
I'm grateful for load-ins that aren't 5 hours before the shows start.
So salty.
I mean, you gave the serious answer. I have to give the funny answer.
It's
Everybody gets one.
I'm also grateful for everybody's floor we got to sleep on the tour.
Sleeping bags and air mattresses. Let's go.
yes.
Yeah. I slept next to a rock fireplace on the carpet for 2 nights.
Shout out Logan's
was,
mom. I think I
shout
shouted
out
her out on
Logan's
our
mom.
podcast too, but like Logan's mom was an MVP. Grateful for
Yeah.
Logan's mom.
So VIP of this episode is Logan's mom.
Hell yeah.
Credits to come. So Logan's mom, if you're listening to this, thank you for offering your floor to the Elsewhere group.
I feel bad because I don't know her Twitch handle, but I'm pretty sure she streams Apex Legends on Twitch.
Are you serious?
I think she just hit Twitch affiliate too.
What?
Yeah.
How did I not know about this?
I think her Twitch handle is Woodhaven.
How did I not know about this?
Because you're not on the TikTok, bro.
I'm not on the TikTok.
You're not on the everybody on the TikTok, bro. So in terms of something I'm grateful for, obviously you guys, I'm glad you guys came on the show today and talked about your experiences and your time as a band and the themes behind your music and all that. We're also grateful for Logan's mom. Thank you again for offering your floor.
Yeah, Stacy's mom ain't got shit on Logan's mom.
No, you watch her play Apex on Twitch and you like it because we are grateful for Logan's mom in this house.
I have watched her a little bit. She's pretty good, actually.
We should all fuck. Can we do Logan's mom versus Elsewhere in Apex like 1v5 and she'll still beat us all?
Yeah.
I mean, probably.
That's the content I'm here for.
But yeah, definitely follow the guys in Elsewhere. Follow Logan's mom on whatever her Twitch handle is. I'm sure they'll send it to me. I'll post it in the description down below. Make sure you follow Elsewhere on all of their socials. They are on Instagram. They're not on Twitter. Don't tag the dude on Twitter. Don't tag
Fuck
him.
Elon Musk.
He will
Fuck Elon Musk
say
and
he's
fuck
gonna
that other
sue
guy
them.
who thinks he's.
Dude,
Yeah,
they're the
fuck the
X.
other
They're
guys
not
who think
Twitter.
their
It's
name-
X, bro. It's X.
Yeah.
Call it by the name.
Fuck them.
The
Fuck
artist,
them other guys who think their band name is Elsewhere too. Fuck
the
them.
artist formerly known as Twitter. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on TikTok. Wherever you can find them, pretty much other than Twitter, they're there. Make sure you follow them.
Wikipedia.
Check out their YouTube, check out all their videos, check out all their music on wherever music can be streamed, and go to any and all of their shows. Reignite Fest, November 11th in Danville, Pennsylvania. Turn out for that. So, without further ado, it's past the 2-hour mark. We're ending the show. From the guys in Elsewhere and from JRagnarokPromotions and the rest of us in the Local Opener podcast who couldn't make it today. Always support your local bands and keep it heavy. We love y'all. See you later.
Thanks for having us, Keith.
And
been a
thank you
blast.
for coming on.
We appreciate
everyone.
you.
See ya. Bye.
But maybe that's what you want. The photocopied version of me that you can color as you see fit.